Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. It's sort of like Haley's Comet. Everybody shows up to see it. Doesn't come around too often. I'm pleased to report that the bill we have before us this morning is a responsible bill that provides increases in funding to advance biomedical research, protect public health, and ensure quality education services to those most in need across our country. As you noted, Mr. Chairman, it's actually the first time in 3 years the bill has been reported out of subcommittee, and the first time in 6 years it's actually come before the full committee. And I would expect after that delay to have a vigorous discussion and debate here today. And frankly, I look forward to that process, both here and going forward as we work to restore regular order and bring this bill across the line. In this bill, the National Institutes of Health, our nation's premier biomedical research agency, is funded at $1.1 billion above last year, $100 million more than the President requested. NIH is working hard to find cures for Alzheimer's disease, cancer, and develop the next generation of medical treatment through the use of precision medicine techniques. The Centers for Disease Control, which protects our citizens against contagious diseases as well as helps communities combat chronic disease like diabetes and stroke, is fully funded at the request level, with special increases for heart disease, stroke, diabetes, prescription drug abuse, and antibiotic-resistant prevention. We know that a quality education can change the trajectory of a person's life for the better. Accordingly, this bill makes priority investments in programs that can make that difference. Head Start receives a nearly $200 million increase with special focus on early Head Start for the most vulnerable children. Special education programs for students with disabilities are increased by over $500 million, triple the increase that the President proposed. This will help local school districts with the financial burden of providing specialized educational services for the most needy of students. TRIO and Gear Up, which help disadvantaged students prepare for and complete college, receive 7% increases over last year. And institutions that serve special and historically disadvantaged populations also receive increases. The bill also protects the most vulnerable of our nation's people by including funds for community services block grants, the low-income home energy assistance programs, Meals on Wheels, job training programs, and programs supporting Native Americans. Finally, the bill includes modest increases for inspectors generals across the agencies to help combat fraud and abuse in government programs. At the same time, the bill terminates funding for over 24 federal programs that are not the best use of taxpayers' dollars or our limited 302B allocation. The Chairman's mark also includes several provisions that will prevent this administration from moving forward with various regulations that threaten to close down small businesses by imposing one-size-fits-all rules and costly mandates. The bill also demonstrates our support for the right of all Americans, including our doctors and nurses, to be guided by their conscience in performance of their jobs and not to be forced to pay for, perform, or refer for services they find morally objectionable. And the bill protects human life by continuing the long-standing prohibitions against federal tax dollars being used to pay for abortions. Finally, this bill includes a provision that ensures not one dime of federal tax dollars provided to the Department of Health and Human Services through this bill can be spent to do any more work on the President's deeply flawed and unpopular health care law. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a good bill. It's a bill that protects people and small businesses, and unlike the President's request, it lives within the budget framework agreed to by both parties and the administration. We've done our job by setting priorities and making tough choices, as opposed to the President, who wishes away the tough choices by proposing to raise taxes on the American people. I believe that the bill we have before us represents a balanced approach designed to benefit every American and to maintain the appropriate stewardship of taxpayers' dollars that we've been entrusted with as members of Congress. I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, and our distinguished ranking member from New York for your help and guidance throughout the process. I certainly want to thank the gentlelady from Connecticut, my ranking member on the subcommittee, and the other members of the subcommittee for their many good ideas, recommendations, and suggestions throughout the process. We didn't agree on every issue, but frankly, we found, I think, a lot of common ground, and I appreciate my colleagues on the other side for working with us when they could. And I particularly want to thank the staff. As the Chairman mentioned, it's been a long time since they've had the opportunity to work through this process. Staff on both sides of the aisle performed admirably throughout, professionally, and frankly wouldn't have been able to get this bill together without their invaluable assistance. So, Mr. Chairman, I thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time.